you want to have a go at natural dyeing, one of the things you're going to have to do for a good majority of the dyes that you want to use is mordant your fibre or fabric first. So in this video, I'm going to show you a very simple process for mordanting wool in order to natural dye it. If you're new here, my name is Becca and I'm a hand spinner, knitter and natural dyer, and you're very welcome to my slightly echoey conservatory here in West Wales. Wool's a really good fibre to start on your natural dyeing journey. It is one of the simplest fibres to mordant, and today I'm going to be working with a half fleece, which is in here, that I cleaned and did scour, but I have to say not brilliantly, a little while ago, and I'm going to now bulk mordant it. So I don't actually have to start dyeing now. I'm just literally going to do 1 kilo of my fibre so it's ready for when I want to natural dye. So wool is a protein fibre, and protein fibres are inherently easier to mordant than plant fibres. And you do need a few simple supplies. They are widely available and non-toxic. For this process, you need wool, aluminium sulfate, optional cream of tartar, and either rainwater or soft water. Your must-have for equipment is a big pot and something to heat it on. The rest are sort of nice to haves. Our first process is to scour our wool, and that doesn't matter whether it's kind of fleece like this or yarn or a jumper. You really want to make sure that it is oil free, and if you're working with commercially combed top, then they actually add oil in the process, so you really want to make sure that there's nothing left on your fibre, because it makes it much more difficult for the dye to actually kind of dye your fibres if there's grease and oil on it, and it also means that your mordant is not going to be as effective. For the last 20 odd years, I have been scouring wool with washing up liquid detergent. It works fine. However, lots of people in the comments when I've said I've done this say, oh, you need to try proper wool wash because you will be amazed at the difference it makes. So I've taken your advice and I've bought some wool wash, and I'm going to give it a go. Scouring wool is pretty simple, and I'm going to take you outside in a minute because I've actually got my Burco washing boiler set up outside so I don't fill my whole house with the smell of scouring wool. So I'm going to add this to it, fill it up with water, put some of this in and bring it up to between 60 and 80 degrees centigrade. Now I have an old sugar thermometer that I use just to make sure that I get to that point, and then you want to hold it at that point for, some people say 20 minutes, some people say an hour. I think really it's kind of trial and error. I kind of go somewhere in the middle, about half an hour, and I tend to go on the slightly higher side, so I kind of hold it at about 80 degrees. What you don't want to do is start mixing it about, kind of adding things to it, adding cold water to it, because what that will do is felt your fleece or your yarn or whatever it is that you're using. So rather than you having to stop and take notes, I've actually written a short little pamphlet, a PDF that you can download by signing up for my newsletter, and it will tell you how to cold mordant, hot mordant, and obviously in that process how to scour. So you don't actually need to take notes, but I know it's quite useful just to kind of see somebody do it. So I'm going to show you the whole process, and then feel free to download that guide so that you don't actually have to come back and keep watching the video and stopping it and all that type of stuff. Right, okay, let's go outside and start the scouring process. So here is Bertha, the Burco, and she has a heating element in the bottom and a tap which makes it much easier to empty her. And she's lost one of her feet, so she has to stand on a bit of slate. And I am now going to top her up with some cold water from the rain butt. I'm using Uralana wool wash, and the dilution rate that they recommend is between 1 and 3% to the weight of wool. And in my case, I'm using a kilo, and I'm going to actually use 30 millilitres of the wool wash, which is about 3%. I've put my old jam thermometer in place, so I shall turn on the boiler and go inside out of the drizzle. I'm going to leave that to come up to temperature. It's going to take a little while, and then we're obviously going to hold it at that temperature for, I don't know, half an hour probably. And yeah, and we'll have a look at it and make sure that we think all the grease has come out. One thing I must say, whenever you are natural dyeing, do not use your pots and pans that you then go and use in the kitchen. Have completely separate kit. Although most of what you're doing is non-toxic, you still don't want to be eating things that you've been dyeing with. There's loads of stuff available at the charity shops, and I mean, that Burco boiler came off eBay. It really wasn't very expensive, and you just save yourself the worry that you might inadvertently poison yourself. By the magic of editing, it is now the next day, and my wool has cooled down completely, so I'm perfectly safe to touch it and move it around, and it's not going to felt. And I'm left with a liquid that is looking like it's got a fair amount of lanolin in it, if I'm honest. So I think this stuff, Uralana wool wash, Uralana? Yeah, I think so. Uralana wool wash, it really did do its job, and it is a rinse-free product, so you don't need to rinse it. I think I might be a little bit converted to it, so we'll see. Anyway, that worked perfectly well, and I have my scoured half of a fleece. I've put that water with a detergent and lanolin, that's gone down a main drain because you definitely don't want it to go onto the garden or into a waterway. And now I'm on to the next stage. For this, I'm using my aluminium sulfate, and it depends whether you're going to hot mordant or cold mordant, how much of this stuff you want to use. If you are cold mordanting, meaning that you don't heat up your fleece, so you don't cook your fleece again in the solution, then you are going to need 10% alum to the weight of your wool. So I've got a kilo of wool, so 10% of that is 100 grams. You can add cream of tartar. I think when you're cold mordanting, it's not actually necessary, but you know, belt and braces, you can. It just helps to soften it a little bit. If you are going to hot mordant, then the percentage is 7% of your alum, 5% cream of tartar, and you bring your wool up to just about simmering point and hold it for an hour. Now, for years and years and years, I only ever hot mordanted. And when I discovered cold mordanting, it sort of changed my life because I don't have to deal with the kind of smell of cooking wool kind of permeating the house. And it's absolutely hammering down out here today. So I definitely don't want to work outside. So I'm going to cold mordant. So I will fill up my boiler, which is there, which of course you can't see. I'm going to fill up the boiler with cold water from the rainwater butt, add a solution, 10% of this, so 100 grams of this, then add my wool. I'm going to leave it until tomorrow morning, so about 24 hours. If I was to hot mordant it, I'd bring it up, hold it for that 1 hour, let it go back down to a temperature where you can handle it without felting. So what's that? About 30 degrees centigrade. Take it out. If you want to then dye at that point, you can. You don't rinse it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out, let it dry, and then use it as and when I want to in smaller amounts, so I don't actually have to go through the mordanting process before I'm dyeing. So as I've said before, there is a whole PDF which gives you all the instructions, and I'm going to link that in the description below. Just sign up for the newsletter. If you don't want my newsletter, just unsubscribe, that's fine. But all the information for dealing with our wool and the amounts are in that PDF. Okay, so I'm going to fill up the boiler with water and make a solution of this stuff. In this jug, I have water from the kettle, so it's boiled and I've poured it in here, and I have 100 grams my aluminium sulfate poured out, and I'm just going to dissolve it in here. I'm going to leave a link to all the supplies that I'm using in the description, and I just buy aluminium sulfate off Amazon. You can buy it in 250 gram bags, which is what I buy, up to sort of a kilo if you want. If you're doing a lot of dyeing, then maybe a kilo is a good option for you. But you can see it really does dissolve quite quickly. I'm just going to emphasize, I only use this equipment for dyeing. I do not use it in the kitchen for anything else. Okay, well, that's nearly dissolved, and I'm now going to put that in my big water boiler full of water. There you go, it's just about gone. So I'm just adding my wool, and the water temperature has not really been affected by that jug of hot water. There's so much water in here. There you go. Oh, a few bits of VM I can pick out. And there we go. Gonna put the lid on that, let it soak overnight, and then we'll be ready for the next process, which is dyeing. So when that has finished steeping in its solution, I'm going to take it out. I won't rinse it, I will just dry it. And then I've got a kilo of wool that's treated, ready for my natural dyeing adventures. I hope you can see that it's a really simple process, and particularly if you cold mordant, if you've got the time to cold mordant, it really is so much easier than having to kind of watch your pot of bubbling wool, and kind of, it can be a bit smelly, you know, kind of having that much wool cooking in your house. I mean, if you've got an outdoor studio, I guess it's fine, but I don't, so, you know, cold mordanting, I'm totally converted to. So there are lots of other things we can then do. So we can do after bathing, and we can use different mordants, but that basic alum mordant will mean that 90% of the natural dyeing that you do is going to work. And even when I use dye stuffs that don't necessarily need a mordant, I always use alum just because I think it brightens the colours a little bit. If you have any questions about that whole process, then please do put them in the comments. Okay, well, the next stage in my adventure will be to actually do some dyeing, but that is going to be the next video.